Welcome back, my son. I've missed you.
Hi everyone, it's Django at GameBank here. I'm going to do a review of Civ 5, Civilization 5, that's come out recently. Now, I should be honest here, I've really struggled with how to define this particular game, because to me, personally, it's a little bit like French cheese. It kind of looks like cheese, it looks like something I recognise, but it doesn't taste like cheese. The experience is kind of weird, but it's still kind of nice. I mean, as you can probably tell from that slightly weak example there, you know, I've really struggled with how to define it in a rounded way for everyone, but I'll try my best. Graphics wise, it's alright. It's not amazing, you know, it's passable. You know, there's the units are a million times bigger than buildings and cities, but just so you can see them. The sea, well, it's pretty featureless. There's not much going on even on the fog of war that you might have seen in Dawn of Discovery, Anno 1404, something like that. So it's, I don't know, it just feels a little bit, it feels like they've pulled a lot of investment into the development of the game, as opposed to possibly the aesthetics of the game, you know, the way it looks and everything like that. The sound, well, the music's good. The ambient sounds and things like that, and the battle sounds are pretty weak, to be completely honest. But although you'll get this impression as I go through and talk about this, it is like French cheese. It's kind of nice, really delicious, but it looks like something, you know, from outer space. It's just bizarre. And to me, Civilization 5 was very much an experience like that, where there's some great things. It's incredibly addictive, but you know what? I took a break after what I thought was an hour, which was in fact 4, and I went upstairs, made a drink, and I thought to myself, am I enjoying it? What do I like about it? And you know what? I couldn't tell you. I couldn't tell you whether it was the gameplay, whether it was the characters. You know, you get to meet some historic characters like Napoleon and Hiawatha and various others, and I couldn't actually define what on earth I liked about it. And that kind of intrigued me, because there's not many games that that I can't really pick out what I like about it. And I don't even know if I do like Civ 5. It's bizarre. The one thing I can say for sure is, having played probably, I don't know, 6 to 10 hours or something like that in total, probably since I got it last night, I still haven't made up my mind about whether there's going to be much longevity with it. I mean, they've added in some the ability that you can, you know, as a community, people can get the tool set and make some mods for it and stuff like that, which from my point of view really does make a game live longer, you know, beyond its life really, if the community's got the tools that they need to be able to make mods for it and maps and that kind of thing. But then again, I mean, as you can probably see from some of the gameplay, the maps are pretty basic. It wouldn't take much to make a custom map here, or custom gameplay elements, or even things to do with like events in history and, you know, making stuff for that. So I don't know. I mean, it just, to me, I just can't tell whether it's really gonna last as long as the hype would suggest it's gonna last. Certainly, a lot of people in the community have been banging on about how in depth it's going to be and how this, that and the other. Well, you know what, as I said earlier on, in the gameplay, in the technical aspects of the gameplay, it is very complex. There's a lot of research that needs to be done. There's a lot of things you can do with your workers to develop the land. There's a lot of resources to be gathered. There's diplomacy, there's trade, there's all sorts of things going on here that feel, you know, like a game, a decent game. But I can never work out whether that's all it's got. the complexity of that. As you can see from some of the cutscenes, they're beautiful. But then you know what? These kind of cutscenes could be seen in a film, could be seen in an advert. Although they're very beautiful and very atmospheric, when you compare that to the gameplay, there's somehow something missing. And although that might sound like a criticism, you know what, I can't work out whether it matters, because when I was playing Civ 5, and so far in my Civ 5 campaign, and just playing about in the actual nature of the game, it's kind of fun. It reminds me of things like Rise of Nations. It doesn't remind me with the kind of depth and that kind of thing of Age of Empires or anything like that, but in a way it does. It's kind of vaguely reminiscent of something that I should like, because I've got a soft spot for RTS games, and although this is a turn-based RTS game, where you move your pieces using up a certain amount of movement points, and then once you've moved everything you end your turn and the enemy has their go. It's just weird how much I like it, and I still can't work out why.
The fate of our people is now in your hands.
You know it's time for us to step it up another level now, cause we finished warming up, so we rise up, elevate to maintain, fill up with our